It has been just a little over 4 months since I started RetroActive, and now here I am at RetrowareTV. What more could a retro gamer ask for? Well, to celebrate this great event, I have decided to go back and give justice to the first classic game I ever reviewed, and look at a little extra. So let's take a look at the always adorable and always fun Kirby's Adventure.
Go out, find it somewhere, and play it. It is just so fun to play. It's not that hard, but it still really sucks you in, and you're just really immersed into this universe, and it's really addicting to play.
And I still agree with everything I just said. Kirby's Adventure pretty much defines everything I love about video games. It's imaginative and colorful environments, colorful characters, easy, enjoyable, yet deep gameplay, and most importantly, it's fun.
We all know Kirby. He's a pink ball with a big smile and an amazing power to suck up enemies and steal their powers by swallowing them. That's actually a little scary when you think about it, yet it's so cute when Kirby does it. Kirby has his power to suck in enemies and fire them out, and he can float and shoot air, but there are a number of enemies with different powers for Kirby to ingest and use as his own. He can become a wheel, shoot laser beams, have a freeze attack, get fire breath, or turn into a ball. That last one isn't very handy if you couldn't guess. The coolest one in this game, and my favorite Kirby power ever, is the UFO. When you're lucky enough to find the UFO, you get to fly around and shoot an electric beam, a laser, or a star. It is easily the most fun power in the game, and I always hunt for it. The programmers just had to be cruel and make it the only power to not transfer levels, and make it hard to find. They knew how awesome it was.
Like I said, Kirby's Adventure has some great environments. They're really colorful and really succeed in capturing one's imagination. There is even a great and colorful way to get to each stage and level with some of its own surprises.
There are 7 worlds, all with their own colorful theme, be it the classic Butter Building, Vegetable Valley, or Grape Garden. Within each world, there are several levels that you can get to by entering doors which transport you to an expansive, colorful world with tons of enemies and even a few secrets. But the great thing about the gameplay in Kirby's Adventure is that with these great worlds, the game is simple and fun, but there are enough enemies and secrets to keep it interesting. It isn't frustrating or ridiculously difficult, it is just fun with plenty to keep it stimulating. As you play through each world, you uncover more doors and minigames and even more secrets if you find the right thing in the levels. Then eventually you get to the boss. The bosses and mini-bosses can be a challenge if you don't pay attention, but mostly they fit right in with the game and offer that great balance of being interesting and just fun to try and beat.
But let's not forget one of the best parts of the game. The ones that do nothing to move the game forward and really aren't needed at all. But as a kid, I loved them and I still do. Yeah, I'm talking about the minigames.
There are a few different minigames to play. The point of them all is just to give you extra lives, but outside of the crane game, it hardly matters. I just play them to have fun. In Egg Catcher, you are Kirby and have to catch all the eggs King DDD throws out and avoid catching the bombs. It is a lot harder than it sounds, as he throws them really fast. If you manage to not get blown up, all the eggs hatch into baby chicks and dance out of your mouth. But my favorite of the minigames is the Quick Draw game. I would start up a game just to play a few rounds of Quick Draw. Simple concept, it is the Old West and you face down a line of enemies and attempt to press fire before they shoot you. If you win, their hat flies off and you move on to the next enemy. It probably shouldn't be as fun as it is, but I love it.
Kirby's Adventure was a great game back in 1993, no question, and it still holds up today. Great characters, story, environments, gameplay, and a little bonus material to top it all off. You simply cannot go wrong with Kirby's Adventure. But now let's take a look at the bonus. Let's take a look at some more Kirby awesomeness in Kirby Superstar.
Kirby Superstar is a multi-cart with 8 Kirby games and a few surprises. But unlike the Super Mario All-Star multi-cart, it isn't a collection of classic games remade for the Super Nintendo. They are all, for the most part, original. The game on a whole adds the idea of having a helper that can be created from the power you absorb from the enemies. So basically, you swallow an enemy and get his power, then you can create that enemy to be on your side. The AI, these helpers aren't the best, but the added firepower can help you get out of a sticky situation. The best of all is the wheel, which allows you to ride it like a unicycle with the super awesome engine. Outside of there being some new powers and some powers being altered, everything else about the gameplay is the same, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
So like I said, there are several games in this one. While some are purely original, others are based on previous games. As you beat one game, another game unlocks, and each new game is a little more difficult and a little longer. You can also unlock a few mini-games and secrets. This game has great replayability.
Your first game is Spring Breeze, which is basically a remake of Kirby's Dream Land, and is a great to play a classic game revamped. It is short and fun just like the original, and even a little easier due to the inclusion of the new gameplay techniques. Once you beat Spring Breeze, you unlock Dynablade. Nothing new here really, just a new story that is pretty similar to Spring Breeze, and a new boss. You have an overworld map with several levels and some secret areas to unlock, but they are completely unnecessary. Eventually you get to Dynablade, the big mechanical bird boss, who is really fun. It is a short game as well, but still fun, and there is plenty more to come. After this, the games get really intense and a lot longer, and stick out from the usual Kirby formula. First is the Great Cave Offensive, which I never cared for when I was younger, but really began loving it later on. With this game, you have to go through a huge cave that has many routes and look for treasure before you escape, so it has some adventure elements with it. The game references other games a lot with the treasure you find, which makes finding them fun. The game is very expansive compared to the first two and has a lot more to complete. After that is my personal favorite, the High Intensity Revenge of Meta Knight. This game has Kirby trying to stop Meta Knight's warship and take you on a much faster paced adventure than a usual Kirby game. Kirby flies around the ship destroying each part until you bring it down. You get to fight some interesting characters and bosses. This game also differs in that there is this heavy amount of story. As you play through, there is dialogue constantly exchanged between these characters of Meta Knight's crew. A lot of it is actually pretty funny, and it's such a different approach to a Kirby game to see how the other side reacts and to have so much story. The last game is Milky Way Wishes. In this one, you travel between planets, and each one has their own theme. In this one, the sun and moon are fighting, so you're out to stop them, but there will be a twist to that. The game plays just like the first two, but it's just on a much larger scale. The only difference is how you get powers. This time, you have to find these statues that give you the power, and you can switch between powers whenever you like. It is an interesting concept, but it doesn't really feel much like a Kirby game should. Still a great game, and has a great challenge.
These are the 5 main games. There's also an arena game that pits you against each boss from the games in an endurance round, and some minigames. The minigames are fun and add some more replay while fleshing out the title.
The first one is actually considered a main game, but I count it as a minigame. The Gourmet Race game has you race against DDD while grabbing food in 3 levels. You can also race against your ghost or just beat a time. It's fun on occasion, but nothing special. The other 2 are the Megaton Punch and Samurai Kirby. The Megaton Punch game has you try and time your punch to get the best punch and largest crack through the star. This minigame gets mentioned a lot due to having a cast of characters from Mario games in the audience. Samurai Kirby is just like Quick Draw from Kirby's Adventure, except now you are Kirby as a samurai. The concept is still great, and this time it adds a little more challenge with having difficulty settings.
I could talk about Kirby forever, especially with 2 games, one of which has 8 games with it. It's hard not to make this video go on and on, but hopefully with 2 videos about Kirby's Adventure and talking more about Kirby in this video, I've done the games justice. But only time will tell, I guess. If you don't have these games, I suggest them highly, be it tracking down the original carts or on Virtual Console. Thank you so much for watching all these months, and I hope you watch next time.